I'm in North Brunswick outside of the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, where the Senate President spoke today about the importance of keeping $140,000 in the state budget to support this organization.
When my daughter was born, she was 2 pounds. And I was in the neonatal unit, right? And I find out she has Down syndrome. The first thing we did was early intervention. It's such a traumatic situation, and you feel like you're all by yourself. And that's why groups like this are so important.
The money was originally slated to be removed, but through the Senate President's efforts, he was able to keep that money in the budget. And he said that he hopes that he puts a face on the budget through today's event. I had a moment to speak with one woman today who actually now works at the Brain Injury Alliance after her son's experience with a brain injury. Joanna Boyd told me the story of her son, Jordan, who was hit by a car on his 4th birthday. Now he's 28 years old and still suffers the consequences of that accident.
This needs to be supported because brain injury is so very different from so many other kinds of disabilities, and it's not understood. And the incidence, the prevalence of brain injury is not recognized.
She shared with me the story of why she has a toy Superman in her office.
That's Jordan's favorite character. And I think it's one of the things that he said when he was first coming out of his coma. He was like, Superman.
Certainly this is incredibly compelling. You've got a story and you put a face on this with these kids that suffer these awful injuries that is life-changing, not only for the children, but also the parents that and the families that have to deal with it. But, you know, the Senate President said it's more than just numbers on a budget. Unfortunately, it is numbers on a budget. And my question is, it seems like it's always very one-sided. We could have people lined up out the door with a compelling, emotional story that would pull all of our heartstrings and say, wow, let's pony up some money. I think this is part of the problem in New Jersey and perhaps across the country with politics, that a politician can go to an event, it's completely one-sided, it's all about the emotion, and, you know, anytime you show a kid that is suffering, everybody right away wants to write a check. But, you know, at the end of the day, they have to go back to the negotiating table and the budget table, and they have to say, there's only a finite amount of resources that we can spend.
Well, this is an example, Veronica, of exactly what Governor Christie's talking about with his no pain, no gain tour. This is exactly an example where there's going to be pain and people who are suffering who won't be able to get the funding because New Jersey will have to balance its budget.
Fine, it's no pain, no gain. New Jersey has to make choices. It does not have to cut everything from the budget. By putting a face to this, we can decide, do we want to cut funding for brain injury awareness? Do we want to cut funding from the pension?
I don't know what percentage 140,000 is to the brain injury center's budget, but I can tell you when you're looking over the next few years of almost $100 billion in unfunded pension and benefit liability, 140,000 seems to be a very small portion. I would like to hear the Senate President say, why don't we slice out 140,000 and spread that over the tens of thousands of state workers and the pensions and benefits that they're going to receive, and maybe we can help these kids.